Turns out you can't come up to people at a coffee shop and ask them to be your friend without getting weird looks at least. Well, how then do you make friends as an adult? That's the question I struggled with for the last couple of years. And beginning of 2024, I've decided to, make a conscious effort to fix it. Hey, my name is Eva and welcome to Adulthood Experiment, where we figure out how to be adults or how to function as a human being generally. Well, I take you on a journey with me and share my findings with you. So, topic of today's video is how to make friends as an adult. Why is it hard and what can you do about it? Spoiler alert, it's not rocket science. Okay, why is it hard? Well, the first thing is lack of structured environments like school or college. And to add to this, I would say the lack of third spaces. Our parents had them, we don't. Mainly because we also don't have the money for third spaces. Whereas that's the thing, third spaces are supposed to be free or relatively affordable. We don't have that, so how do you make friends, right? Second thing is we don't put conscious effort into making friendships. Whereas in school or college, you would not make as much of an effort because the effort was made for you by forcing you to be in the same room, in the same building. I remember reading a research that said that in order to make a casual friend, you need about 50 hours of interactions, and a close friend needs about 200 hours. You need to keep seeing people. You need to make an effort to meet them, right? Another thing is a lot of adults already have close-knit friend groups that they're not looking to add more to. And that's where we come down to the interesting part. What can you do about it? First thing is, and I know this sounds cliche, you've heard this a million times probably, but hear me out, because again, I'm talking from my own experience. You need to engage in your own interest and your own hobbies. Here's my example, right? I signed up for ClassPass and I just did a trial, I think. I signed up for ClassPass and I started going to classes that I thought were interesting. But not only that, I would try to strike up a conversation with a girl that was working out in the same class or something like that. That is a point of connection. You being in the same class, or you going to the same workout studio, or you go to the same gym as well, gives you a point of connection, right? Second thing is make conscious effort. Again, coming back to time and effort, right? I have signed up for Bumble BFF. Again, none of this is sponsored, of course, but that's something that worked for me. I signed up for Bumble BFF, and not only that, I've set a goal for myself to meet one new person every single week for 2 months. It's been almost a year, I wouldn't say a year, maybe like 6 to 8 months since I started that, and I can confidently say that some of the girls that I met on Bumble, I'm still friends with. One of them became my close friend. Some of them, we've kind of lost touch. That's also okay. Another thing is concept of weak ties. Or simply put, reach out to an old friend or an acquaintance. Doesn't matter. The point is, sometimes we have possible friends around us already. We just don't pay attention to them. And also because you already know them, there is that point of connection. It might be easier to actually become friends with people that you know already. You can reach out to an old friend, just ask them out for coffee to catch up. Maybe it works out, maybe you guys click, maybe you don't, and that's also okay. And last thing, I know it's uncomfortable, that's why it's last, and that's why it's like, you don't really have to do it. Try striking up conversation with strangers. If you frequent a coffee shop, ask the barista their name, how their day's going, something. Chat up to your nail tech, for example, if you're not already doing that. You don't have to force it, right? You don't have to force it, but sometimes you're just one interaction away from meeting someone interesting. And that's pretty much it. Honestly, it's not rocket science, like I said. The steps are very simple. The hard part is taking those steps because they're extremely uncomfortable. Anything out of your comfort zone is not going to be pleasant, and you're not going to want to do it. On this note, there's some things that I'd like you to keep in mind. It's not just you. When I started this journey, I felt like I was an odd one out because I didn't have a big friend group, or I struggled making friends. Turns out, the more I opened up and the more I spoke to people about my struggles, the more I heard that, hey, yeah, I struggle too. I struggle too. And I figured out a lot of people struggle with making friends as an adult, but we just don't talk about it. And hence why I decided to make this video, right? It's not just you. It's generally more difficult. Another thing is according to my therapist, it's normal to have 1 to 3 friends as an adult. You don't really need more than that. You can have acquaintances, but we're talking about making friendships, close friendships, meaningful connections. It's not a networking event. We're talking about close friends. It's normal to have 1 to 3 friends. That's it. Another thing to keep in mind is friendships require time and effort. I had mentioned this in the beginning, but I would like to reiterate that because this is an important part that we sometimes forget. We expect to meet a person and become besties immediately, which that happens sometimes, but come on, the probability of it is very low. But if you keep making an effort, a weak tie can blossom into great friendship. Honestly, that brings us to the next point. Don't force it. If you meet a person and you feel like you're not really clicking, like they're not a bad person, or sometimes they are, doesn't matter, but you're not clicking, don't force it just because you feel like you need to make a friend. More people will come. Move on, honestly. Also, remember that to build trust, we require repeated interactions. And the last thing I'll say is figure out what works for you. Some people need to meet their friends every single day. Some people need to meet them once in 2 weeks, once in 1 month. Whatever it is, it's normal, it's okay. Don't force it, be yourself. In conclusion, making friends as an adult is actually more difficult, but it's not impossible. And it's also a normal experience to have. That being said, let me know down in the comments if you've struggled or are struggling with making friends, which I assume you are since you watched this video. But also, let me know what have you tried and what worked for you. That's it for today. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself.